it says in Judges chapter 11, verse 29, listen carefully to the verbiage. Then the Spirit of the Lord was upon Japhet. This is very key. Then the Spirit of the Lord was upon Japhet. If the Spirit of God had already been living in him and dwelling in him, it would not read that way. It would say, and the Spirit of the Lord lived inside of Japhet. But that's not what was happening. When we go on to the rest of the verse, it says, and he passed through Gilead and Manasseh and passed on to Mizpah of Gilead. From Mizpah of Gilead, he passed on to the Ammonites. We know that during this time, the book of Judges basically talks a lot about Gideon in the battle, and the Ammonites was always like a thorn in the children of Israel's side, but God wanted to raise up Gideon to be able to fight them. But nobody could do anything in scripture until the Spirit of the Lord came upon them in the Old Testament. So in the Old Testament, all of these great men of faith did not operate or do great exploits until the Spirit of the Lord came upon them. So let's talk about Japhet and who he is and why is this significant. So Japhet was a great warrior, and he was actually the son of a prostitute. Okay. Why am I telling you this? Because some of you got to come from a bad, jacked up background. You come from a ratchet, raggedy family, and the devil trying to beat your head off to make you think you can't be used of God. The devil is a whole lie. Somebody say it with me. He's a whole lie. He is a whole lie. He ain't got no truth in him. And so what happens is this man, he was a great warrior, but he was the son of a prostitute. So he was probably born as a bastard child. He was probably born out of wedlock. Okay. And so what happens is because of the situation with him, okay, he was the son of a prostitute, but when his father remarried and had more children, they got rid of Japhet to send him away. So I'm talking to the black sheeps. Where the family don't claim you, they treat you funny. You ain't really welcome around the holidays. You probably went through a whole lot of stuff between Thanksgiving and New Year's. You probably felt lonely and all that, right? But what we're saying here is Japhet literally came from a jacked up background. And it says when the Ammonites came to attack Israel, the leaders actually sent for Japhet to have him lead the army and to bring a victory. There's so much in this. The one that people reject doesn't mean God has rejected you. The Spirit of the Lord was upon Japhet. This is going back to Isaiah 12, verse 2, the seven spirits of God. The Spirit of the Lord was on Japhet. Why was the Spirit of the Lord on him? The Spirit of the Lord was on him because he had an assignment. So if you are trying to preach, teach, write a book, pray, lead your family, do anything to bring honor to God, you can't do it if the Spirit of God is not on you. If the Spirit of God is not abiding in you, living in you. Somebody go in the chat and say, live in me, God. God is not coming down to live in you or you will die. But he said, I will send forth my Spirit to live on the inside of you. I'm going to give you scripture for all of that. I promise you I will. So, first of all, the one they rejected was the one that the Lord chose to bring forth victory. You don't have to be qualified in man's eyes. Man does not qualify you. Man cannot disqualify you. I need somebody to share this broadcast. Man cannot qualify you to do the will of God. And so many of you are trapped and waiting for your pastor, your apostle, or whoever your leader is to stamp his approval on you. You're waiting for that to happen when you will not just receive that. It don't matter how much you done messed up. It don't matter what you done been through, but now you're trying to live right. You're trying to live holy. God says, I want to live in you so you can do my will. I want to live in you. I want my Spirit to live in you so you can go forth and do what I've called you to do, because God knows we cannot do his will if his spirit don't live in us.